What does it mean to keep? I want you to think about what it means to keep a covenant. So, on Monday's lesson, the first covenant God made with Abraham was a promise of blessings if Abraham would leave and go. Okay? So, to honor that covenant, Abraham had to do something. He had to pick up and go. And he was wealthy, and so he had lots of people that went with him and everything else, etc. I can't imagine. Okay? He was 75 years old when this happened. Okay? 75 years old, established, all his belongings, servants, household, etc. Lot and his household. It was a mass exodus. The second covenant that God made with Abraham, it says, for all the land of Palestine is to be given to you and your descendants, Genesis 15:18. It was sealed in a manner typical of contracts. Dead animals, walking back and forth in between them, all that sort of stuff. Okay? And yet it was more of a promise on God's part than an agreement on Abraham's part. The covenant that he made at Sinai with the children of Israel, Exodus 19. What was the children of Israel's part? Reading Exodus 19, 5 and 6. Now then, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be my own possession among all the peoples, for all the earth is mine, and you shall be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. God is giving promises and assurance of who he is and how he will take care of them. What were their response?
All this we will do.
All that you say, we're going to do. Now wait a minute. This is a disconnect. God is saying, here's who I am, and here's what I'm going to provide you. And here's the children of Israel saying, we're going to do it. Has nothing to do with what God is presenting. There's a disconnect. In our mind, because we think this is a legal contract, we have connected the two and made what God presents and what they have said as what was supposed to have happened. And it's not. God is giving promises and assurance. They are assuring him that they will do whatever he says, and they mean well. There's lots of stories in the Bible of people who meant well. Peter meant well. You know, the denial of Peter is mentioned in all four Gospels. Okay? Matthew 26:31, Mark 14:27, Luke 22:61, John 13:36-38. When Peter said, I will not deny you, was he lying? He meant what he said. He just didn't know who he was. Okay? So, when God said, keep my covenant, what did he mean? What does the word keep mean? He says obey. Hold, remember. Let's go and compare this to something else. Compare this with the memories of the miracles and the surroundings of Christ's birth, that Mary treasured all these things and pondered them in her heart. In NIV, King James, otherwise it says, she kept these things in her heart. Did she obey them? No. She kept them as evidences that her son was special. It said something about the gift of her son. She didn't have to do anything. I mean, yes, she got pregnant, but I don't mean to belittle that at all. Don't get me wrong. Psalms 1:2. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. Other versions say, he keeps the law in his heart. Psalms 119 is all about the law and how appreciation of the law and keeping the law. What does it mean to keep? There's a passage from Mrs. White that says, no one who believes in Jesus Christ is under bondage to the law of God. For his law is a law of life, not of death, to those who obey it, precepts. All who comprehend the spirituality of the law, all who realize its power as a detector of sin, are in just as helpless a condition as is Satan himself, unless they accept the atonement provided for them in the remedial sacrifice of Jesus Christ, who is our atonement, at one ment with God. Okay? Through faith in Christ, obedience to every principle of the law is made possible. 6 BC 1077. You know, in the translation, King James translation, it talks about, you will be my peculiar people.